I really think that anyone who's, like, just to summarize, I really do think that anyone who looks at the FaZe NRG series and the way that FaZe play Rocket League, and then you know, think that FaZe would beat BDS, I don't know what, I honestly don't know how somebody could reach that conclusion. But then again, a lot of people were saying that EU is the passive region and that NA doesn't give any space, so I don't know how people could have reached that conclusion as well. Like, there's a lot of like crazy takes and ridiculous conclusions being reached by like notable people in the Rocket League scene, and I don't understand how they can get to these conclusions by looking at the same gameplay I see. So yeah, I'm sure that there's still going to be people saying that, but I really don't believe that personally. It's literally just copium. I mean, yeah, at this point I think it's just pure copium. But you know, luckily I think that the players who are in question, you know, I think that FaZe, I've not talked to FaZe, but I think NRG, FaZe, and all the other top players from NA, they seem to be, you know, quite openly acknowledging that, you know, EU looks like the stronger playstyle. And if NA's done anything well in the past, it's learning from their losses. You know, EU was the better region seasons 2 through 5, and then NA like spent the whole time closing the gap, and eventually there was no gap. And if anything, NA was better in season 7, before it went pretty even season 8 and 9. So, you know, season 6 through 9, it was even, or even North America favored in season 7, I'd say. So NA can come back. They've got the tools, they've got the players, they've got the teams, and now they've actually got the losses to learn from as well. So I'm sure they'll come back. But yeah, it's pure copium saying that FaZe would have beaten BDS. It's madness to say FaZe have got the play style to beat BDS. Like, anyone who says that is crazy. FaZe plays so passive in defense. They play a little bit differently than NRG in offense. NRG tend to incorporate a lot more team play, whereas FaZe just go for lots of solo plays and then try and quickly react to the chaos that comes off of that. Which I like both NRG and FaZe in offense. I just don't like how they defend. They're way too passive. The FaZe versus BDS Swiss stage, BDS were all over the place. I mean, they were whiffing, they were missing open nets, they were like double committing, they were team bumping. Like, clearly to me, the BDS loss in Swiss was just BDS playing like trash. I mean, I when I saw that, I was like, oh nah, BDS have got issues. They've got issues. So I predicted them to lose to Complexity in the quarters because I thought they were going to crumble with their visible issues they had in Swiss combined with the additional pressure at quarters. But it seems like the additional pressure actually brought the best out of BDS, which was really cool to see. Any more matches today? Nah, no more matches today. I don't have time to cast another one. Took a bit too long to get the second match going today, so not going to have time for a third, but I do have time to stick around for a bit. We can have a chat. In-depth analysis of the final would be interesting to watch. Yeah, I'll probably have a look at more RLCS replays soon as well, just to show you guys what it is I see and you know, what it is I'm looking for when I'm comparing playstyles. Yeah, Wiz Wonder Mike's just finished. So you can catch it on my VOD, Twitch VOD, or if you wait a couple days, it'll be on my YouTube channel. Yeah, this clip describing the extra pass is so funny. That's actually like, I watched the VOD of Sizz talking about that, and it's really cool to hear all of his, you know, thoughts about NRG's weekend, you know, their struggles that they had and their ability to bounce back from that, you know, their mentality when they're losing. I think that they did a really good job. I think NRG are like really a team to look up to in NA and worldwide. Not just for the fans, but for the hardcores and the other teams as well, the other players. Like, they've got a great mentality to learn. It's kind of ironic that a lot of NRG fans are throwing around copium, like a lot of NA fans are throwing around copium, saying that, you know, FaZe would have won and NRG didn't care and all this stuff. Like, there's so much copium being thrown around, But NRG themselves have not had any copium at all. They're just, saying BDS are insane. We tried our best. We had a good time. Can't wait to go and improve. Their mentality seems to be spot on. Whereas they're, a lot of their fans and a lot of NA fans are just, I don't know. I guess it was just too hard to accept that for 2 years, what's copium? It's coping mechanisms. I guess it was just too hard to accept. Like when you talk so much trash for months and years, and then it all turns out to be wrong, it's quite hard to swallow that pill. So I guess it's understandable that, copium exists. Yeah, NRG never really got too deep into the regional rivalry, so I guess they didn't have that pressure on them. Copium means excuses that someone invents in order to cope with something that they can't reconcile, Yeah, obviously as an NRG fan, it would have been better to see a third series, and I'm sure I speak about NRG fans here. I was definitely leaning more BDS personally because I wanted to be right, and also because I did think that they were the better team, so I was like, they deserve this. Are pro players so often incorrect in their analysis of the games and playstyles? Is Rocket League a really difficult game to deeply understand? Does Pro RL just select? I don't know. I was genuinely very surprised at how many people thought NA was the aggressive region. I was very surprised. Because initially when I heard that, I thought that it was memes. But it seems like going into the RLCS LAN, there was genuinely a lot of NA pros and personalities who actually believed NA had the most aggressive playstyle. And I don't know how they could have got to that conclusion. Because I've told this before, but when I watched the replays and watched back the matches of SMAD, it was really obvious that the NA players were faking more challenges, they were rotating away from the play, they were, going away to get boosts instead of staying in the play with low boost. And EU players were just all chasing, aggressive, bumping, staying up front. And it looks awkward when you see it. It's kind of like 1v1 players who just don't go away. They keep ball chasing with 12 boosts, and you're like, what is he doing? It just makes both of us look bad, But that's what I saw when I see EU play, and when I saw EU play in SMAD, I was thinking this is kind of like 1v1 mains who don't leave the ball. They just keep pressuring, and it makes the opponents look bad. It makes themselves look bad, but they win. Whereas when I would watch NA, I would see players zooming around the field, rotating deep, giving each other a ton of space. And, the one thing that NA would do well is they'd give their teammates a lot of space. So there'd be a lot of clean plays, not a lot of misplays. More double commits in EU because they'd also be, kind of close to each other. But no, regardless of which playstyle you think is better, using, more of a boost heavy game and more of a outplay focused game, clean play, if that's what you think is better, that's fine. But if you think a very high pressure style, very aggressive style is better, you don't care about flashy mechanics, you just go for the win no matter what. If you think that's better, that's fine as well. You can make a case for both. But I don't know how anyone could ever look at how the two regions played in SMAD and then call NA the more aggressive region. That blew my mind. That really did blew my mind. I was like, what are these people watching? Obviously the gap isn't that big. EU is the best region, but they're not the best region by miles. On any given day, a matchup BDS NRG is gonna go one way or the other. I think BDS are not gonna win it every day. They're gonna maybe win 7 out of 10 days in that current form. Maybe 8 out of 10 if it's actually more one-sided than we think. Maybe 6 out of 10 if it's less. Nobody knows because we only saw it on 2 different days. But even if NA won this LAN, there would be no denying that EU is the more aggressive region, just looking at how the teams play. What does BDS need to win to have a bigger legacy than Gale Force Dig? I mean, if BDS just win another major and win Worlds, they'd be pretty close to Gale Force Dig. The regions are pretty much even. I mean, they're not even. Saying they're even is not accurate. The EU's definitely got an advantage. They won. They had a better record against NA, better record against the other regions. They had more teams in the top 8. And when you look at the top 16 teams in EU and NA, EU is still like better than that category as well. So like EU is better, but it's only like 55-45, I'd say. It's like 55% to 45%, something like that. Do you think people were underrating Squishy? Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't think Squishy were going to be... Squishy was going to be as effective on LAN. But he had a really good event. But yeah, 55-45 is not pretty much even. It's still like a 10% difference in total. So it's like... I think when people say the regions are pretty much even, it sounds too much like they're trying to say it's even. Which isn't the case. They should be saying that EU has a small advantage. That's probably the accurate take. I'm personally really excited though to see which NA teams are going to come out all guns blazing, low boost pressure in the ball, no mechanics, just like we're going to win. And it's ugly, but we're going to win. I'm really excited to see which teams are just going to thrive now that they've seen how effective it can be to do that. What team do you guys think is going to do that the best? Which NA team do you guys in chat think is going to come out in the new split and look like an EU team? I know what I think. Okay, we're not going to talk about speculative rosters. There's a lot of like roster moves being speculated right now. Like, let's just imagine the current rosters all stay the same. A lot of you guys have said this team, and I think it's this team as well. I think Space Station Gaming. I think they're going to come out and be the EU playstyle team. Personally, that's my best guess at least. You're tired of the whole region versus region debate? I don't know how anybody can be tired by it. I mean, I'm at the center of it, and it's really entertaining. As long as it doesn't become the full story. I mean, when myself, Shogun, and James Bell were getting ready to cast the grand final between BDS and NRG, the main storylines we wanted to talk about was BDS trying to get that first win of the season, you know, trying to prove to everybody that they're not just onliners. You know, those are the main stories, not that they're trying to win for EU. You know, there was more important stories than this is an EU team, for sure. But, you know, we didn't ignore the fact it was EU versus NA. That was like another less important storyline. And for NRG, you know, there was like the storyline of their comeback during the weekend, because they started off really poorly and then came back. So that was their main story. The second story, of course, was them being the legends of NA, trying to get their first win together. NA fans tired of the banter. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are saying like, oh, I'm tired of the region debate, and then as soon as NA wins something, they're going to be all region versus region again. Guaranteed there will be people like that, but trust me, when NA win anything, we're going to see 10 times, 100 times the memes, 100 times the shade being thrown around. I feel like it wasn't even remotely savage this time around. EU's kind of just like, I mean, yeah, we won, but no one's surprised. I mean, I'm genuinely not surprised. I saw SMAD. Did you guys? I watched SMAD. After SMAD, I was like, okay, yeah, there's a difference here. There's a region difference, so yeah. Home LAN, region difference, very confident. It was just what we expected. Instead of like learning from SMAD, everybody's saying SMAD don't matter. Everybody, all the NA guys, that was your cheat sheet. You could have looked at SMAD, seen the playstyle difference, and started learning ahead of time. But nah, they were like, SMAD don't matter. And then they did the exact same things. They kept the same playstyles for the whole split, only to discover that, wait, that might actually not be the optimal style. Whoops. Which is why, instead of like trying to cope about the loss, this time around, NA should be using it as a learning experience. Instead of trying to come up with excuses for why EU won, NA should be using it as a chance, an opportunity to learn and start closing the gap. Because next LAN, I think the teams are gonna be, I think the NA teams are gonna be more aggressive, and we're gonna have a much more competitive LAN across the board because of it. Also, I think that regions like APAC and OCE are going to have stepped up. MENA potentially. Although if Khaled's there, it's going to be a completely different team, so that's going to be interesting to watch. I could see the same SAM teams and same OCE teams qualifying, and the same APAC teams. So that's an advantage for those guys if the same teams qualify. Oh, that's another advantage for North America, by the way. I don't know if this has been talked about enough, but one of the big advantages that NA has over EU is next LAN comes around, we might have like 3 different EU teams. I'm not even sold on Endpoint easily qualifying again, because they've had so many struggles in Swiss. I could see Endpoint struggling to get a top 5. They need to make other like tournament winning runs, which isn't going to be easy with Dignitas around, BDS back on form. You got Misfits, Carmine Corp, EG all outside the top 5 right now. There's so many teams in EU who could be fighting for those top 5, whereas in North America it's kind of like just 6 teams who are fighting for the top 5. So you're more likely to get at least 4 of the same teams, which could be an advantage because that will be experience. Next split, no Swiss. Yeah, next split is league play into double elim, so it's a totally different format. Yeah, there's also Queso as well. There's 0-0 Nation. There's a lot of really scary teams in EU. It's not going to be easy for anybody to just qualify.